All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chris's Sports Corner. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday, like I always say. So in this video, we're going to be talking about one of Toronto's favorite sons, DeMar DeRozan, and could he end up back in Toronto? Let's talk about it, man. Let's get into it. Off the rip, we know DeMar DeRozan was really, really loved in Toronto. Excuse me. And he was one of those people that when he left, it hurt the Raptors. Even though they was getting Kawhi Leonard back. Don't get me wrong. We're not gonna act like they didn't get someone back. They gave up someone who was loyal for a 1-year rental at the time. It wasn't sure he was gonna be a 1-year rental. And they got a championship out deal. So I get it. But he was beloved in Toronto, and he loved Toronto. So, but what we do know is the San Antonio Spurs are going to be a well-coached team. They're going to teeter on the playoffs, but they're looking to get younger. They're looking to build. They're looking to really, start planning for that future. Get some draft picks, let Pop start to rebuild this thing. And there's two people on their roster that they may be looking to move on from. All right, one being DeMar DeRozan, the other one being LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge. Understandable. They've had these guys, and it's cool, but they're not a team ready to compete. And obviously they missed the playoffs last year for the first time in a long time. So with that being said, could DeMar DeRozan end up back in Toronto? Is there a trade to be had? I think there's a trade to be had there. The question is, what would Toronto have to give up? Right? Like maybe some draft picks here and there, and I think they're willing to do that. Let me just say this. This trade, from my understanding, has not been talked about between the teams. This is me looking at a situation going, I see the potential here. Especially a player like DeMar DeRozan. See, and I think this trade got a lot more chance of happening than the trade when Kawhi wanted out and he wanted to go to LA and other places. The Spurs weren't finna do that. All right, they ain't gonna bring you. They ain't gonna send you to their competition. They're not gonna do you any favors when you're forcing your way out. But that's not the situation with DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan not forcing his way out. They're just a team. They want to get younger. They ready to build towards the future, and they have a relationship with the Raptors because of the fact that they already had a trade deal that brought DeMar there. So when you look at it from that perspective, you was like, okay, the dialogue is there. They've done a very trade, and Pop is known for being a pretty, he's a stern coach. Don't get me wrong, and he's a straight about his business type of guy. But he's also someone that seemed to have a heart. If you don't get on his bad side, right? And I think that this would be something that he would do, to send DeMar back to Toronto. And we knew the hurt when DeMar left. Like, I don't want to make it sound like they didn't at least get Kawhi back. I mean, they got Kawhi. All right, let's not make no bones about that. They got Kawhi and a chip. But DeMar DeRozan was someone who just loved Toronto, and all indication was Toronto loved him back. And not only that, his best friend Kyle Lowry, who was there. They were like two peas in a pod. So I remember when they first announced the trade, the very first thing I thought about was, ooh, Lowry ain't gonna be cool with that. That's gonna cause a little some friction right there. You kind of felt that way. But at the time, you got it. At least at the minimum, you gotta say, hey, it worked. Okay, it worked. For a championship. I mean, it was a 1-year rental, but it did get him a chip. The question, again, like I said, is what would Toronto have to give up? Me, personally, I'm thinking they'll give up some draft picks, maybe a support cast. Now, the thing the thing too is what you also have to understand is Toronto's supporting cast. They're this is what I think has been overlooked, and I'm gonna speak on this later. Is their supporting cast, their bench players are good. So these are young, rising potential stars that they may have to give up to get DeMar back. And how much of that future talent are they willing to give up to bring him back in? Needless to say, we all know Kyle Lowry would be ecstatic. I'm quite sure of that. Kyle Lowry would be so happy to have someone that he's so close with, someone that he's been in the trenches with, someone that he's battled with, to bring him back. And I think DeMar DeRozan game will go to another level because he'll be comfortable. He's back home, what he calls home, where he grew up at, where he want to be at, where he was willing to stay for however long they want him. And sometimes there's nothing that works better when two people want each other. With two people, with an organization as well as a player, and they want each other, it's just perfect. It's like symphony. It just goes together. So, and like I said, the Spurs are not a championship contending team, but they will be well coached. They will compete, but I think they're looking to trying to start that rebuild thing. And the one thing you hate to see is rebuilding with veterans, with like veterans that are good, but you know, they getting up there a little bit. You kind of want to say, okay, let's not drag them through this. And I don't want to see DeMar DeRozan or LaMarcus Aldridge drag through a rebuild, like, you know. And I'm gonna be honest, I would love to see DeMar DeRozan go back to Toronto for the simple fact that I do believe that it's where he want to be. He don't want. I don't see him wanting to jump around a lot. Like, he's comfortable. Like I said, he loves Toronto. Toronto loves him. My only thing is, what would Toronto have to give up? That would be what would the Spurs want? What would the Spurs? I don't think the Spurs would ask for a king ransom. I don't think that Toronto would. I'm sorry. I don't think the Spurs, because you gotta be honest now. Even though he was Kawhi Leonard, he kind of took him. It kind of put an end to a what was starting to be a very, very cloudy situation. It just wasn't working, and it would become this whole fiasco. So they kind of did him a little favor too. Now they got a lot. They got a lot in return for that. Don't get me wrong, but they did take that off of his hand, and then gave up one of their key players. So let me know down in the comments if you guys would like to see DeMar DeRozan back in Toronto with the Raptors, and where I would say honestly where he belongs. Please let me know down in the comments, guys. With that being said, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, you guys be great.